A millionaire Arab prince flees the pressures of his kingdom and falls in love with a humble florist. Little does she know he is engaged to another woman, and this secret could ruin everything. In the quaint village of Roseville, where cobblestone streets wound their way between ivy-covered cottages, life moved at a gentle pace. At the heart of this picturesque community stood Petals and Posies, a charming flower shop that had been a fixture in the town for generations. Behind its powder blue door and gleaming windows, brimming with colorful blooms, was Lily Evans, a 22-year-old florist with a heart as vibrant as the flowers she tended. Lily's day began as it always did, with the soft tinkling of the bell above the shop door as she entered, breathing in the sweet fragrance that permeated the air. Sunlight streamed through the windows, catching the delicate petals of roses, lilies, and daisies, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that never failed to lift her spirits. As she moved about the shop, preparing for the day ahead, Lily's mind wandered to the challenges that awaited her. The flower shop, once her grandmother's pride and joy, now rested squarely on her young shoulders. It wasn't just a business, it was the lifeline that supported her mother and two younger siblings. The weight of this responsibility was a constant presence, but Lily found solace in the beauty that surrounded her. "Good morning, sweetie," called a familiar voice. Lily looked up to see Mrs. Henderson, one of her regular customers, peering through the doorway. "Good morning, Mrs. Henderson, come in," Lily replied warmly, setting aside the roses she had been arranging. As Mrs. Henderson browsed the shop, chattering about her garden club's latest project, Lily's attention was drawn to the calendar on the wall. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized the date. The town's annual summer gala was just 2 weeks away, and she had yet to secure the order for the event's floral arrangements. The summer gala was Roseville's most prestigious event, drawing visitors from neighboring towns and even the occasional celebrity. It was an opportunity Lily couldn't afford to miss, both for the financial boost it would provide and for the exposure it would bring to her small shop. "Lily, dear, are you listening?" Mrs. Henderson's voice broke through her reverie. "Oh, I'm so sorry," Lily apologized, blushing slightly. "I was just thinking about the summer gala." "I haven't heard back about the flower order yet." Mrs. Henderson's eyes widened. "Oh my, that is concerning. You know, I heard whispers that Bloomingdale's from the next town over was trying to undercut local businesses for the contract this year." Lily's heart sank. Bloomingdale's was a large corporate-owned flower shop with resources she could only dream of. If they were indeed vying for the Gala contract, her chances of securing it were slim. "Thank you for letting me know, Mrs. Henderson," Lily said, trying to keep the worry from her voice. "I'll have to see what I can do." After Mrs. Henderson left with her purchase, Lily sank into the chair behind the counter, her mind racing. The Gala contract had been a cornerstone of her grandmother's business for years. Losing it now when the shop's finances were already stretched thin could be disastrous. Taking a deep breath, Lily reached for the phone. She would call the Gala committee directly and make her case. As she dialed the number, she glanced at the framed photo of her grandmother that hung on the wall, the older woman's kind eyes seeming to offer encouragement. "Hello, this is Lily Evans from Petals and Posies," she said, when someone answered. "I'm calling about the flower arrangements for the summer gala." The conversation that followed left Lily feeling deflated. The committee member she spoke to was polite but non-committal, explaining that they were still considering all options and would make a decision soon. As she hung up the phone, Lily's gaze fell on the calendar once more. 2 weeks. She had 2 weeks to come up with a plan that would save not just the gala contract, but potentially her family's livelihood. The bell above the door chimed again, and Lily quickly composed herself, plastering on a smile to greet the next customer. As she worked through the day, creating bouquets and chatting with the townspeople who dropped by, her mind never strayed far from the looming challenge. That evening, after closing up shop, Lily walked home along the twilight-lit streets of Roseville. The scent of blooming jasmine filled the air, and the soft glow of street lamps cast a warm light on the cobblestones. In any other circumstance, it would have been a peaceful end to the day. But as Lily approached her modest family home, with its peeling paint and overgrown garden, the weight of her worries settled heavily on her shoulders. She paused at the gate, taking a moment to gather herself before facing her family. Inside, the sounds of laughter and the clatter of dishes greeted her. Her mother, Sarah, was setting the table while her younger siblings, Tommy and Emma, playfully argued over the last cookie. "Lily, you're just in time for dinner," Sarah called out, her smile warm but tired. As they sat down to eat, Lily found herself torn between sharing her concerns and protecting her family from worry. In the end, she opted for a middle ground. "I might need to work some extra hours in the coming weeks," she said casually. "There's a big order I'm hoping to secure for the shop." Sarah reached across the table and squeezed her daughter's hand. "You work so hard already, sweetheart. Are you sure you can handle more?" Lily nodded, forcing a smile. "Of course, Mom, it's what Grandma would have done." As the conversation moved on to Tommy's upcoming school play and Emma's art project, Lily's mind drifted back to the shop. She needed a plan, something spectacular that would make Petals and Posies stand out from the competition. Later that night, unable to sleep, Lily sat at her small desk, sketching out ideas for floral arrangements. Each design she created was more elaborate than the last, but nothing felt quite right. As the first light of dawn began to creep through her window, Lily finally set down her pencil, exhausted but determined. She may not have had the resources of a big corporate flower shop, but she had something they didn't: a deep connection to Roseville and its people. Somehow she would find a way to turn that into an advantage. As Lily finally drifted off to sleep, she was unaware that miles away, events were unfolding that would soon intertwine her fate with that of a most unexpected ally. The next few weeks would challenge everything she thought she knew about her life, her town, and the power of unexpected connections. Little did Lily know, her world was about to bloom in ways she could never have imagined. Thousands of miles away from the quaint village of Roseville, in an opulent palace nestled among the sand dunes of an oil-rich kingdom, Prince Amir al-Saud paced the length of his lavish bedroom. The 28-year-old heir to one of the most powerful families in the region felt suffocated by the golden walls that surrounded him, each step on the marble floor echoing the growing unrest in his heart. Amir's dark eyes, usually twinkling with mischief, now held a somber look as he gazed out over the sprawling city below. The weight of expectation pressed down upon him like the scorching desert sun. In just a few short weeks, he was to be married to Lady Fatima, the daughter of a prominent aristocratic family. It was a union that would strengthen alliances and please his father, the king, but it left Amir feeling hollow. "Your Highness," a soft voice called from the doorway. Amir turned to see Hassan, his most trusted advisor and friend since childhood, standing there with a concerned expression. "The king requests your presence in the throne room." Amir nodded, straightening his shoulders and donning the mask of the dutiful prince. As he walked through the ornate halls of the palace, servants bowed deeply, their eyes averted in respect, but Amir longed for a genuine connection, for someone to see him as more than just a title. In the throne room, King Fahad sat regally, his eyes sharp as he surveyed his son. "Amir, the preparations for your wedding are well underway. Lady Fatima's family will be arriving next week to finalize the arrangements." Amir felt his heart constrict. "Father, The king held up a hand, silencing him. "This union is crucial for our kingdom's future. I trust you understand the importance of your role." Swallowing hard, Amir nodded. "Yes, father." As he left the throne room, Amir's mind raced. The walls of the palace, once a symbol of his privileged life, now felt like a gilded cage. He couldn't bear the thought of a loveless marriage, of a life dictated by duty rather than passion. That night, as the palace slept, Amir made a decision that would change the course of his life forever. With Hassan's help, he packed a small bag with simple clothes and whatever cash he could gather without raising suspicion. As the first light of dawn broke over the desert, Prince Amir al-Saud disappeared into the shadows, leaving behind his title, his wealth, and the only life he had ever known. Days later, a young man with tousled dark hair and a nervous smile stepped off a bus in the heart of Roseville. Gone were the princely robes and the air of royalty. In their place stood Amir Hassan, taking his friend's name as an alias, a traveler seeking a simpler life. Amir's eyes widened as he took in the charming town. The cobblestone streets and quaint buildings were a far cry from the sleek skyscrapers and vast deserts he was accustomed to. As he wandered through the town square, the scent of fresh flowers caught his attention. Following the fragrant trail, he found himself standing before a small flower shop with a sign that read, "Petals and Posies." Through the window, Amir caught sight of a young woman with auburn hair arranging a bouquet, her face a picture of concentration. Something about her demeanor, the care with which she handled each stem, captivated him. Without thinking, he pushed open the door, the tinkling of the bell announcing his arrival. Lily looked up, her green eyes meeting Amir's dark ones. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then reality crashed back as Lily's phone rang, breaking the spell. "Petals and Posies. This is Lily speaking," she answered, her voice strained. Amir pretended to browse the shop, but he couldn't help overhearing the conversation. "Yes, I understand. No, please, just give me one more day. I promise I can make it work." As Lily hung up, Amir saw her shoulders slump. Without thinking, he approached the counter. "Excuse me, is everything all right?" Lily looked up, startled, as if she had forgotten he was there. "Oh, I'm sorry. How can I help you?" Amir hesitated, then said, "Actually, I was wondering if you might need some help. I'm new in town and looking for work." Lily's eyebrows rose in surprise. "You want to work in a flower shop?" Amir shrugged, a small smile playing on his lips. "I'm a quick learner, and it seems like you might need an extra pair of hands." For a moment, Lily looked tempted. Then she shook her head. "I'm sorry, but I can barely keep the shop afloat as it is. I can't afford to hire anyone right now." Amir nodded, understanding, but as he turned to leave, an idea struck him. "What if I worked for free, just for a short while, until I find something else? In exchange, perhaps you could provide some meals and maybe help me find a place to stay." Lily hesitated, weighing the offer. The shop was busy, especially with the gala preparations looming, and an extra set of hands could make all the difference. Plus, there was something about this stranger that intrigued her. "All right," she said finally, "we can give it a try, but I warn you, it's hard work." Amir's face lit up with a genuine smile. "I'm not afraid of hard work." "Thank you, Lily," she supplied. "Lily Evans." "Thank you, Lily," Amir said, the name feeling right on his tongue. "I'm Amir Hassan." As Lily began to show Amir around the shop, neither of them could have predicted how this chance encounter would change their lives. Amir, the prince in hiding, found himself drawn into the world of flowers and small-town life, while Lily, unaware of her new assistant's true identity, saw in Amir a glimmer of hope for saving her beloved shop. Outside, the late afternoon sun cast a golden glow over Roseville, as if blessing this new beginning. In the coming days, as Amir learned the art of flower arranging and Lily worked tirelessly on her gala proposal, the seeds of something beautiful began to take root. A connection that would bloom into something neither of them expected. Little did they know, the challenges that lay ahead would test not only their budding friendship, but also the secrets that Amir held close to his heart. As the days ticked down to the summer gala, both Lily and Amir would discover that sometimes the most extraordinary stories grow from the simplest of beginnings. The following days in Roseville saw a flurry of activity at Petals and Posies. Lily, driven by her determination to secure the summer gala contract, worked tirelessly on her proposal. Amir, true to his word, threw himself into learning the intricacies of the flower shop with an enthusiasm that surprised even himself. As the morning sun peeked through the shop windows, Lily found Amir already hard at work, carefully trimming the stems of a fresh delivery of roses. She couldn't help but smile at his concentrated expression, so at odds with the carefree demeanor he usually exhibited. "You're getting quite good at that," Lily remarked, causing Amir to look up with a grin. "I have an excellent teacher," he replied, the compliment bringing a slight blush to Lily's cheeks. Over the past few days, Lily had found herself increasingly grateful for Amir's presence. Not only was he a quick learner, but his positive attitude and willingness to tackle any task, no matter how menial, had breathed new life into the shop. More than once, she had caught herself wondering about the mysterious newcomer and the life he had left behind. As they worked side by side, arranging bouquets and serving customers, Lily found herself opening up to Amir about her fears regarding the gala contract. "It's not just about the money," she confided as they restocked the cooler. "This shop, it's been in my family for generations. It's a part of Roseville's history. Losing the gala contract feels like letting everyone down. My grandmother, my family, even the town itself." Amir listened intently, his heart going out to the young woman who carried such a heavy burden. In her dedication, He saw echoes of the responsibility he had fled from, and yet Lily faced her challenges with a grace and determination that humbled him. "What if we approach this differently?" Amir suggested, an idea forming. "Instead of competing with Bloomingdale's on their terms, why don't we showcase what makes Petals and Posies unique?" Lily looked at him curiously. "What do you mean?" "Well, this shop isn't just about selling flowers, is it? It's about the stories behind them, the connections they create in the community. What if we could capture that in your proposal?" Excitement sparked in Lily's eyes as she considered the possibility. "That's brilliant, Amir. We could create arrangements that tell the story of Roseville, using flowers that have special meaning to the town and its people." As they brainstormed ideas, the bell above the door chimed, announcing a customer. To their surprise, it was Mrs. Henderson, looking flustered. "Lily, dear, I need your help," she said, wringing her hands. "The garden club's annual tea is this afternoon, and our centerpieces haven't arrived. Is there any chance you could whip something up for us?" Lily's eyes widened at the sudden request. The garden club's tea was a significant event, attended by many of Roseville's prominent citizens. It was an opportunity she couldn't afford to miss, but with the Gala proposal deadline looming, she wasn't sure how to manage both. Before she could respond, Amir stepped forward. "Why don't I handle the centerpieces, Lily? You can focus on the Gala proposal." Lily hesitated, torn between the need to seize this opportunity and her uncertainty about leaving such an important task to her new assistant. Seeing her hesitation, Amir added softly, "Trust me, I won't let you down." Something in his earnest expression made Lily nod. "All right, Mrs. Henderson, we'd be happy to help. Amir will create something special for your tea." As Mrs. Henderson left with a relieved smile, Lily turned to Amir. "Are you sure about this? The garden club can be particular." Amir's eyes twinkled with confidence. "I may have picked up a few tricks in my time. Don't worry, I have an idea that I think will impress them." Throughout the day, Lily stole glances at Amir as he worked diligently on the centerpieces. His hands moved with surprising grace, weaving together an assortment of flowers and local plants. She marveled at how quickly he had adapted to life in the shop, as if he had always belonged there. As evening approached, Mrs. Henderson returned, her eyes widening as she saw the centerpieces Amir had created. Each one was a miniature representation of Roseville's most beloved landmarks, the old clock tower, the covered bridge, and even a tiny version of Petals and Posies itself, all crafted from flowers and greenery. "Oh my," Mrs. Henderson breathed, her hand fluttering to her chest. "These are absolutely exquisite. Lily, your new assistant is a true artist." Lily couldn't hide her own amazement. "Amir, these are incredible. How did you come up with this?" Amir shrugged modestly. "I just thought about what makes Roseville special. It seemed fitting to celebrate the town itself." As Mrs. Henderson left with the centerpieces, gushing about how the garden club would react, Lily turned to Amir with a newfound appreciation. "Thank you," she said softly. "You really saved the day." Amir's heart warmed at her gratitude. For the first time since leaving his royal life behind, he felt truly useful, truly seen for who he was rather than his title. That evening, as they closed up shop, the atmosphere between them had shifted. A comfortable camaraderie had formed, built on shared challenges and small victories. As they walked together towards the small apartment above the local diner where Amir was staying, Lily found herself sharing more about her life, her dreams, and her fears. Amir listened attentively, offering encouragement and support. In turn, he shared carefully edited stories of his own life, painting a picture of a young man seeking to find his place in the world. Though he kept the truth of his royal heritage hidden, the connection growing between them was genuine. As they parted ways for the night, Lily paused. "Amir, I'm really glad you wandered into my shop that day. I don't know how I would have managed without you." Amir's smile was tinged with an emotion he couldn't quite name. "I'm glad too, Lily. More than you know." Watching her walk away, Amir felt a mix of joy and unease. He was falling for Lily, drawn to her strength, her kindness, and her passion for her work. But the secret of his true identity loomed large, a barrier he wasn't sure how to overcome. Back in his small rented room, Amir gazed out at the starlit sky over Roseville. The simple beauty of this town and its people had captured his heart in a way he never expected. As he drifted off to sleep, His mind filled with images of delicate petals and Lily's smile, Amir knew that his impulsive decision to flee his old life had led him to something precious. Little did he know that back in his homeland, the wheels were already in motion to locate the missing prince. As Amir dreamed of a future in Roseville, the life he had left behind was racing to catch up with him, threatening to shatter the fragile new world he was building. In the quiet of the night, Roseville slept peacefully, unaware of the storm brewing on the horizon, a storm that would test the bonds of loyalty, love, and community in ways no one could have foreseen. As the days rolled by, the excitement in Roseville grew palpable. The annual Festival of Flowers was approaching, a beloved tradition that transformed the quaint town into a vibrant tapestry of colors and fragrances. For Lily and Petals and Posies, it was more than just a celebration. It was a crucial opportunity to showcase their skills and hopefully secure the coveted summer gala contract. The morning of the festival dawned bright and clear, the air filled with anticipation. Lily arrived at the shop before sunrise, her mind racing with last-minute details. To her surprise, she found Amir already there, sleeves rolled up and surrounded by buckets of freshly cut flowers. "Couldn't sleep," he explained with a sheepish grin. "Thought I'd get a head start on the preparations." Lily felt a rush of gratitude. Over the past weeks, Amir had become an invaluable part of the shop, his creativity and work ethic bringing a new energy to Petals and Posies. More than that, she had come to cherish his company, finding in him a confidant and friend. As they worked side by side, transforming the shop's display window into a breathtaking scene of cascading blooms and delicate arrangements, Lily couldn't help but notice how seamlessly they moved together, anticipating each other's needs without a word. "You know," Lily said, pausing to admire their handiwork, "I never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually feeling confident about today. With your help, I think we might just pull this off." Amir's eyes sparkled with warmth. "You would have succeeded with or without me, Lily. Your talent and dedication are truly remarkable." Their gazes held for a moment, an unspoken current of emotion passing between them. Lily felt her cheeks warm, and she quickly turned back to the flowers, her heart fluttering in a way that had nothing to do with pre-festival jitters. As the town square came to life with vendors setting up their stalls and the first visitors arriving, Lily and Amir put the finishing touches on their booth. Their display was a stunning tribute to Roseville's history and natural beauty, featuring intricate arrangements that told the story of the town through carefully chosen blooms. The festival was soon in full swing, the air filled with laughter, music, and the sweet perfume of countless flowers. Lily and Amir worked tirelessly, greeting customers, creating custom bouquets and showcasing their special festival collection. To Lily's delight, their booth quickly became one of the most popular attractions, drawing praise from locals and visitors alike. As the afternoon wore on, Lily caught sight of a group of well-dressed individuals making their way through the crowd. Her heart skipped a beat as she recognized them as members of the Summer Gala Committee. This was the moment she had been waiting for. "Amir," she whispered urgently, "the Gala Committee is here. This is our chance." Amir squeezed her hand reassuringly. "You've got this, Lily. Just be yourself and let your work speak for itself." Taking a deep breath, Lily stepped forward to greet the committee members. As she guided them through their display, explaining the significance of each arrangement and the thought behind their designs, she felt a surge of confidence. This was her passion, her life's work, and she spoke about it with a genuine enthusiasm that was hard to ignore. The committee members listened attentively, their expressions moving from polite interest to genuine admiration. When Lily finished her presentation, the head of the committee, a distinguished older woman named Mrs. Fairfax, smiled warmly. "My dear, I must say I'm thoroughly impressed. Your dedication to our town's heritage and your innovative approach to floral design is exactly what we've been looking for. I think I speak for all of us when I say we would be delighted to have Petals and Posies provide the arrangements for this year's summer gala." Lily's eyes widened in disbelief. "Really? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much." As the committee moved on, Lily turned to Amir, her face radiant with joy. Without thinking, she threw her arms around him in a tight embrace. Amir hesitated for just a moment before returning the hug, holding her close as the festival continued around them. When they finally pulled apart, both slightly flushed, Lily's eyes were shining with unshed tears of happiness. "We did it, Amir. I couldn't have done this without you." Amir's heart swelled with emotions he could barely contain. In that moment, surrounded by the beauty of the festival and basking in Lily's joy, he felt more alive than he ever had in his palace back home. As the day began to wind down, the festival took on a magical quality. Twinkling lights were strung between the booths, casting a soft glow over the square. The scent of night-blooming flowers mingled with the aroma of sweet treats and coffee from nearby vendors. Lily and Amir, finally able to take a break, decided to explore the festival together. They wandered through the stalls, sampling local delicacies and admiring the crafts on display. As they reached the center of the square, they found a small area had been cleared for dancing, with a local band playing soft melodies. "May I have this dance?" Amir asked, extending his hand to Lily with a playful bow. Lily laughed, a carefree sound that made Amir's heart soar. "I warn you, I'm not much of a dancer." "Neither am I," Amir confessed with a grin. "We can be terrible together." As they swayed to the music, their bodies close and movements tentative at first, Lily found herself studying Amir's face. In the soft glow of the festival lights, she saw not just the hard-working assistant who had become her friend, but a man of depth and mystery, with kind eyes that seemed to hold secrets she longed to uncover. Amir, in turn, marveled at the woman in his arms. Lily's strength, her passion for her work, and her unwavering kindness had captivated him completely. For the first time since leaving his royal life behind, he felt truly at peace, truly at home. As the song drew to a close, their eyes met, and the world seemed to fade away around them. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, they leaned towards each other. Their lips met in a soft, tender kiss that held the promise of something beautiful and new. When they parted, both slightly breathless, Lily's cheeks were flushed and Amir's eyes sparkled with joy. No words were needed as they stood there, hands intertwined, the festival continuing around them in a blur of colors and sounds. As they walked back to Petals and Posies later that night, a comfortable silence enveloped them. The day had been a whirlwind of emotions and triumphs, and the kiss they shared felt like the beginning of something wonderful. Yet, as Amir bid Lily goodnight at the shop door, a flicker of unease passed through him. His feelings for Lily were real and growing stronger by the day, but the secret of his true identity weighed heavily on his conscience. He knew that someday soon he would have to confront the truth and face the consequences of his choices. For now, though, as he watched Lily disappear into the shop with a final wave and a radiant smile, Amir allowed himself to hope. Perhaps here in this small town with this extraordinary woman, he had found not just a hiding place, but a true home. Little did they know that far away, events were unfolding that would soon test the fragile happiness they had found. The echoes of Amir's past were drawing ever closer, threatening to shatter the new life he was building and the love that was blossoming between him and Lily. As Rosaville settled into the quiet of night, the fading echoes of the Festival of Flowers lingering in the air, the stage was set for a confrontation that would change everything. The weeks following the Festival of Flowers were a whirlwind of activity for Lily and Amir. With the summer gala contract secured, Petals and Posies was busier than ever. The shop hummed with energy as they worked tirelessly to create the perfect floral designs for the upcoming event. Amidst the flurry of preparations, Lily and Amir's relationship blossomed like the flowers they tended. Stolen glances across the shop, gentle touches as they passed each other, and quiet moments shared over late-night planning sessions all spoke of a deepening connection. For Lily, it felt like pieces of a puzzle falling into place. Amir brought a joy to her life she hadn't realized was missing. One evening, as they closed up shop, Amir surprised Lily with a picnic basket. "I thought we could use a break," he said with a shy smile. "There's a beautiful spot by the lake I'd like to show you." Lily's face lit up. "That sounds perfect." As they settled on a blanket by the tranquil waters, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Lily felt a sense of contentment wash over her. Amir unpacked an assortment of local delicacies, including Mrs. Henderson's famous lavender shortbread. "You've really embraced life here in Rosaville," Lily remarked, watching as Amir expertly arranged their little feast. Amir's eyes softened as he looked at her. "It's not hard when you have someone worth staying for." The weight of his words hung in the air between them, full of unspoken emotion. Lily reached out, intertwining her fingers with his. "Amir, I—" But before she could continue, a distant sound caught their attention. A sleek black car was winding its way down the road toward the town, an unusual sight in their small community. Amir tensed, his expression suddenly guarded. Lily noticed the change immediately. "Is everything all right?" He nodded, forcing a smile. "Of course, shall we head back? It's getting late." As they packed up their picnic, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. Amir's carefree demeanor had been replaced by a restlessness she hadn't seen before. The next morning, as Lily arrived at the shop, she was surprised to find Amir already there, pacing nervously. "Lily," he said, his voice strained, "I need to tell you something." But before he could continue, the shop door burst open. A striking woman in designer clothes strode in, her eyes scanning the room before landing on Amir. Her face contorted with a mix of relief and fury. "Amir!" she exclaimed in accented English. "Do you have any idea what you've put us through?" "Your father is beside himself." Lily stood frozen, her mind struggling to process the scene unfolding before her. Amir's face had drained of color, his eyes darting between the woman and Lily. "Fatima," he said quietly, "please, let me explain." The woman, Fatima, scoffed. "Explain? You disappeared without a word, abandoning your duties, your family, our engagement. And for what? To play shopkeeper in this village?" Each word hit Lily like a physical blow. Engagement? Duties? She turned to Amir, her voice barely above a whisper. "What is she talking about?" Amir stepped towards her, his eyes pleading. "Lily, I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you—" "Tell her what, Amir?" Fatima interjected. "That you're Prince Amir al-Saud, heir to one of the wealthiest kingdoms in the world. That you ran away from your responsibilities, from our arranged marriage." The room seemed to spin around Lily. Prince. Arranged marriage. She looked at Amir, the man she thought she knew, the man she was falling in love with, and saw a stranger. "Is it true?" she managed to ask, her voice trembling. Amir's shoulders slumped in defeat. "Yes," he admitted. "But Lily, you have to understand." "Understand what?" Lily cut him off, anger and hurt coursing through her. "That everything between us has been a lie?" "No," Amir exclaimed, reaching for her hand. Lily stepped back, out of his reach. "My feelings for you are real, Lily. More real than anything in my life before." Fatima watched the exchange with growing impatience. "Amir, this has gone on long enough. It's time to come home and face your responsibilities." The bell above the shop door chimed again, and Mrs. Henderson walked in, stopping short at the tense scene before her. "Oh my," she murmured. "Is everything all right?" Lily straightened, forcing herself to breathe. "Mrs. Henderson," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. "I'm afraid we'll have to reschedule your appointment. We're dealing with an unexpected situation." As Mrs. Henderson retreated, murmuring apologies, Lily turned back to Amir and Fatima. "I think you should both leave," she said quietly. I need time to process this." Amir looked stricken. "Lily, please, just go," Lily insisted, turning away to hide the tears threatening to spill. As the door closed behind them, Lily sank to the floor, surrounded by the flowers that had once brought her so much joy. Now they seemed to mock her with their beauty and fragrance, reminders of the man who had swept into her life like a fairy tale prince, only to reveal that he actually was one. Outside, curious townspeople gathered, whispering and pointing at the elegant woman and the man they knew as Amir, walking away from petals and posies. News traveled fast in small towns, and by nightfall all of Roseville would be buzzing with the revelation of Amir's true identity. In her small apartment above the shop, Lily sat by the window, watching as the sun set on the day that had shattered her world. The summer gala loomed ahead, a cruel reminder of the dreams and plans she had shared with Amir. How could she face it now, knowing that every moment they had shared was tainted by his deception? As night fell over Roseville, three hearts ached with the pain of secrets revealed and trust betrayed. Amir, torn between his duty and his heart. Fatima, grappling with the realization that the man she was to marry had found love elsewhere. And Lily, left to question everything she thought she knew about the man who had captured her heart. The tranquil town that had been a haven for Amir and a home for Lily now stood on the brink of a storm. one that would test the strength of their love, the bonds of community, and the power of forgiveness in ways they could never have imagined. The following days in Roseville were charged with tension and whispered conversations. The revelation of Amir's true identity had sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community. For Lily, each day was a struggle to maintain normalcy as she threw herself into preparations for the summer gala, using work as a shield against the tumult of her emotions. Amir, meanwhile, found himself caught between two worlds. He had taken a room at the local inn, unable to bear the thought of leaving Roseville and Lily behind. Fatima remained as well, her presence a constant reminder of the life he had fled and the responsibilities that awaited him. One morning, as Lily was arranging a display in the shop window, she caught sight of Amir across the street. Their eyes met for a brief moment before Lily quickly turned away, her heart racing. She couldn't deny the pull she still felt towards him, but the pain of his deception was still too raw. Later that day, as Lily was closing up shop, a gentle knock on the door startled her. She looked up to see Fatima standing there, her usual air of confidence replaced by an unexpected vulnerability. Hesitantly, Lily opened the door. "We're closed, but can I help you?" Fatima stepped inside, her eyes taking in the quaint shop. "I hoped we might talk," she said softly. "Woman to woman." Lily nodded, gesturing to a pair of chairs near the counter. As they sat, an awkward silence fell between them. Finally, Fatima spoke. "I want you to know I had no idea Amir had found someone. When I arrived, I was angry, hurt, I lashed out." Lily's fingers traced the patterns on her apron. "I understand. It must have been a shock for you too." Fatima's laugh was tinged with sadness. "Amir and our engagement was arranged when we were children. We grew up expecting to marry, to fulfill our duties to our families and our kingdom. But I never saw him look at me the way he looks at you." Lily's heart clenched at these words. "But he lied to me," she whispered. "How can I trust anything he says?" "Amir has always felt trapped by his title," Fatima explained. "Coming here, meeting you, I think for the first time he felt free to be himself." She paused, meeting Lily's gaze. "The Amir you know, the kind, hard-working man who loves flowers and this town, that's the real Amir. The prince, that's the mask he's worn all his life." As Fatima's words sank in, Lily felt her anger beginning to soften, replaced by a confusing mix of emotions. "What happens now?" she asked. Fatima stood, smoothing her designer dress. "That, I think, is up to you and Amir. I've already informed our families that the engagement is off. Amir's path is his own to choose now." As Fatima left, Lily remained seated, her mind whirling with new perspectives and possibilities. Across town, Amir was engaged in his own soul-searching. He wandered the streets of Roseville, the town that had become more of a home to him than his gilded palace ever had. Every corner held a memory of Lily, her laugh, her determination, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about her dreams for the shop. His feet carried him to the lake where they had shared their picnic, where he had been on the verge of confessing everything before fate intervened. As he stood at the water's edge, skipping stones across the placid surface, he heard footsteps behind him. "I thought I might find you here," came a familiar voice. Amir turned to see Mrs. Henderson approaching, a knowing look in her eyes. "Mrs. Henderson," Amir greeted her, his voice heavy with emotion. "I suppose you've heard—" "My dear boy," she said gently. "In a town this size, everyone's heard. But that's not why I'm here." Amir looked at her quizzically as she continued, "I've known Lily since she was a little girl. I've never seen her as happy as she's been these past weeks, until now." Amir's shoulders slumped. "I never meant to hurt her. I just wanted to be seen for who I am, not my title." Mrs. Henderson patted his arm sympathetically. "And that's exactly what Lily did, isn't it? She saw you, the real you." "But I lied to her," Amir protested. "You did," Mrs. Henderson agreed, "and that hurt her deeply. But love, real love, can overcome many obstacles if you're willing to fight for it." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the lake, Amir felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew what he had to do. Back at Petals and Posies, Lily was putting the finishing touches on a complex arrangement for the summer gala when she heard the bell above the door. Looking up, her breath caught in her throat as she saw Amir standing there, a bouquet of wildflowers in his hands. "Lily," he began, his voice full of emotion, "I know I hurt you, and I'm more sorry than I can express. But I need you to know that every moment we shared, every feeling, it was all real. More real than anything in my life before." Lily's hands trembled as she set down her shears. "Amir, Please," he interrupted gently. "Let me finish. I came to Roseville running away from who I was, but being here, working in this shop, falling in love with you, it helped me discover who I truly want to be." He stepped closer, offering her the wildflowers. "I'm not asking you to forgive me right away. I'm asking for a chance to rebuild your trust, to show you the real me, Prince and Florist with all my flaws and dreams. Because I love you, Lily Evans, and I want to build a life here with you if you'll have me." Tears welled in Lily's eyes as she looked at the man before her, the prince who had chosen love over duty, the florist who had brought joy and color into her life. Slowly, she reached out and took the flowers from his hands. "It won't be easy," she said softly. "We have a lot to work through." Amir's face lit up with hope. "I'm willing to do whatever it takes." As they stood there, surrounded by the beauty they had created together, the first step towards reconciliation was taken. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, a promise of new beginnings. Yet even as hope blossomed anew in Roseville, challenges loomed on the horizon. The summer gala was fast approaching, bringing with it opportunities and pressures that would test their newfound understanding. And far away in a desert kingdom, news of a prince's choice would soon spark a chain of events that would reach all the way to their small town, threatening to upend everything once again. For now, though, in the quiet of the flower shop as day turned to evening, Lily and Amir held on to this moment of possibility, ready to face whatever came next, together. The days leading up to the summer gala were a whirlwind of activity in Roseville. At the center of it all was Petals and Posies, where Lily and Amir worked tirelessly to bring their vision to life. Their relationship, still tender from recent revelations, found new strength in their shared passion for their work. As they crafted elaborate centerpieces and stunning floral arches, Lily and Amir rediscovered the easy rhythm they had developed over the weeks. Yet there was a new depth to their interactions, stolen glances that held promises of conversations to come, gentle touches that spoke of forgiveness slowly taking root. One afternoon, as they were putting the finishing touches on a particularly challenging arrangement, Amir paused, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Lily," he began hesitantly, "there's something I need to tell you." Lily's hands stilled, her heart skipping a beat. "What is it?" Amir took a deep breath. "I received a call from my father this morning. He's not well." Concern flooded Lily's features. "Oh, Amir, I'm so sorry. Is it serious?" He nodded, his eyes troubled. "The doctors are unsure. He's asking for me to return home, at least temporarily." The implications of his words hung heavy in the air between them. Lily's mind raced with questions and fears, but she pushed them aside, focusing on the man before her. "When do you need to leave?" "After the gala," Amir replied, his voice filled with conflicting emotions. "I promised I'd see this through with you, and I intend to keep that promise." Lily reached out, taking his hand in hers. "We'll figure this out together," she said softly, "one step at a time." As they returned to their work, both were acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. The gala was no longer just a professional milestone. It had become a symbol of their relationship, a testament to what they could achieve together before facing an uncertain future. The night of the summer gala arrived, transforming the town's grand old manor house into a fairy tale setting. Lily and Amir's creations adorned every corner, from delicate bouquets on the tables to a breathtaking floral chandelier suspended in the ballroom. As guests began to arrive, exclaiming over the beauty surrounding them, Lily felt a surge of pride. This was what she had dreamed of, what her grandmother had built the shop's reputation on, and she had achieved it with Amir by her side. "It's magnificent," came a voice behind them. Lily and Amir turned to see Mrs. Fairfax, head of the gala committee, beaming at them. "You've outdone yourselves. Petals and Posies will be the talk of the county after tonight." As Mrs. Fairfax moved on to greet other guests, Amir squeezed Lily's hand. "You did it," he said softly. "Everything you've worked for, it's all coming true." Lily looked up at him, her eyes shining. "We did it," she corrected. "I couldn't have done this without you, Amir." For a moment they stood there, lost in each other's gaze, the bustle of the gala fading around them. Then, a commotion near the entrance caught their attention. To their shock, they saw Fatima entering the ballroom, accompanied by an older man whose regal bearing left no doubt as to his identity. Amir's father, the king. Amir stiffened beside Lily, his face a mask of surprise and apprehension. "I don't understand," he murmured. He was supposed to be in the hospital. As whispers rippled through the crowd, the king's eyes locked onto Amir. With measured steps, he made his way across the ballroom, Fatima following close behind. "Father," Amir said as they approached, his voice a mixture of concern and wariness. "What are you doing here? You should be resting." The king's stern expression softened slightly as he looked at his son. "When I heard you had found a new path, I had to see for myself." His gaze shifted to Lily, then swept across the room, taking in the floral masterpieces. "So this is the life you've chosen?" Amir straightened, his hand finding Lily's. "Yes, father. This is where I belong." For a tense moment, silence reigned. Then, to everyone's surprise, the king's face broke into a small smile. "I see now what Fatima has been trying to tell me. You've found your calling, my son." Relief washed over Amir's features. "You're not here to force me to return." The king shook his head. "I came to understand, and perhaps to make amends." He turned to Lily, his expression softening further. "Young lady, it seems I owe you a debt of gratitude. You've helped my son find happiness in a way I never could." Lily, overwhelmed by the turn of events, managed a graceful nod. "Your Majesty, Amir has brought just as much joy to my life and to our town." As the night wore on, the gala became a celebration not just of summer, but of new beginnings. Lily and Amir moved through the crowd, accepting compliments on their work and introducing the king to the townsfolk who had become Amir's second family. In a quiet moment, Amir pulled Lily aside to a secluded balcony overlooking the moonlit gardens. "Lily," he began, his voice filled with emotion, "seeing my father here, seeing how he's accepted my choices, it's made me realize something." Lily's heart raced as Amir took both her hands in his. "I don't want to leave Rosaville. I don't want to leave you. Whatever challenges come our way, I want to face them together." Tears of joy welled in Lily's eyes as she looked up at the man who had changed her life in so many ways. "I want that too," she whispered. As they sealed their commitment with a kiss, the sounds of the gala faded into the background. In that moment, surrounded by the flowers they both loved, Lily and Amir knew that they had found something rare and precious, a love that could bridge worlds and bloom even in the face of adversity. Yet, as the night drew to a close and the last guests departed, both Lily and Amir knew that their journey was far from over. The king's acceptance was just the beginning. There would be questions to answer, compromises to make, and a delicate balance to strike between Amir's royal heritage and their shared dreams for the future in Rosaville. As they walked hand in hand through the now quiet ballroom, surrounded by the fading beauty of their floral creations, Lily and Amir faced the future with hope and determination. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their love as enduring as the perennial blooms they cherished. The summer gala had marked not just a professional triumph, but the beginning of a new chapter in their lives, one filled with promise, adventure, and the sweet fragrance of flowers in bloom. The weeks following the summer gala brought a flurry of changes to Rosaville. The success of Petals and Posies at the event had catapulted the small flower shop into the spotlight, with orders pouring in from neighboring towns and even distant cities. Lily found herself navigating this newfound success while also adjusting to the implications of Amir's royal heritage. For Amir, the challenge lay in balancing his commitment to Lily and Rosaville with the expectations of his family and kingdom. The king's acceptance had opened doors, but it also brought new responsibilities. Conference calls with royal advisors and diplomatic meetings now punctuated his days at the flower shop. One sunny morning, as Lily and Amir worked side by side in the shop, the bell above the door chimed. They looked up to see Mrs. Henderson entering, a mischievous twinkle in her eye. "Good morning, you two," she said, her voice filled with barely contained excitement. "I hope you're not too busy. There's something the town council would like to discuss with you." Exchanging curious glances, Lily and Amir followed Mrs. Henderson to the town hall. There they found a gathering of Roseville's most prominent citizens, including Mayor Thompson and the members of the Gala committee. "Lily, Amir," the mayor began, smiling warmly, "the success of the summer gala has put Roseville on the map. We've been inundated with inquiries about our little town, and it's all thanks to your beautiful floral displays." Lily felt a blush creep up her cheeks. "We're just happy we could contribute to the town's success." "It's more than that," Mrs. Fairfax interjected. "You've inspired us. We've been discussing ways to capitalize on this newfound interest in Roseville, and we have a proposal for you." Mayor Thompson nodded, continuing, "We'd like to establish an annual flower festival, showcasing not just Roseville's beauty, but also the talents of florists and gardeners from all over the region. And we'd like petals and posies to be at the heart of it." Amir's eyes widened. "A flower festival? That sounds incredible. It would be a massive undertaking," Lily mused, her mind already racing with possibilities. "Indeed it would," the mayor agreed, "which is why we're prepared to offer town support and resources to make it happen. This could put Roseville on the map as a destination for flower enthusiasts from all over the country." As they left the town hall an hour later, Lily and Amir's heads were spinning with plans and ideas. The proposed festival was an opportunity to combine their shared passion for flowers with their love for Roseville. "Can you believe it?" Lily said, her voice filled with wonder. "A few months ago, I was worried about keeping the shop afloat. Now we're planning a festival that could change everything." Amir pulled her close, pressing a kiss to her forehead. "You've always had this potential, Lily. I'm just glad I get to be part of making your dreams come true." As they walked back to the shop, hand in hand, they were stopped by a group of children from the local school. The kids, eyes wide with excitement, thrust a handmade card towards them. "Mr. Amir, Miss Lily," one little girl said shyly, "we made this for you. Thank you for making our town so pretty." Touched by the gesture, Lily knelt down to accept the card. It was covered in glitter and crayon drawings of flowers, with "thank you" written in wobbly letters across the top. "This is beautiful," Lily said, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you all so much." As the children ran off, giggling, Amir wrapped an arm around Lily's waist. "You see, this is why I fell in love with Roseville, with you. It's not just about the flowers. It's about community, about making a real difference in people's lives." Lily leaned into him, feeling a sense of contentment wash over her. "I know what you mean. When I inherited the shop from my grandmother, I never imagined it could lead to all this." That evening, as they closed up the shop, Amir grew uncharacteristically quiet. Lily, sensing his mood, gently prodded, "What's on your mind?" Amir took a deep breath. "I received another call from my father today. He's asked me to return home for a few weeks. There are some matters of state that require my attention." Lily felt her heart sink, even as she tried to keep her voice steady. "I see. When do you need to leave?" "Next week," Amir replied, his eyes searching her face. "Lily, I want you to know that this doesn't change anything between us. My home is here now, with you. This is just a temporary necessity." Lily nodded, forcing a smile. "I understand. We knew there would be challenges like this. We'll make it work." As they embraced, both were acutely aware of the complexities of their situation. Their love had bridged cultures and social divides, but the realities of Amir's royal duties could not be ignored forever. The following days were a whirlwind of activity. Between preparations for Amir's departure and initial planning for the flower festival, Lily barely had time to process her emotions. It wasn't until the night before Amir was set to leave that the reality truly hit her. They stood in the small garden behind Petals and Posies, surrounded by the night-blooming flowers that filled the air with their sweet fragrance. Amir held Lily close, his voice soft in the quiet evening. "I promise I'll call every day," he said, "and I'll be back before you know it. We have a festival to plan after all." Lily nodded against his chest, fighting back tears. "I'll hold you to that, Your Highness," she teased gently, using the title she rarely acknowledged. Amir chuckled, then grew serious. "Lily, I want you to know, no matter where I am, my heart is here. With you, in this garden, in this town. You've shown me what it means to truly belong somewhere." As they shared a tender kiss under the stars, both Lily and Amir felt the strength of their bond. They had weathered secrets and revelations, bridged worlds of difference, and emerged stronger for it all. The next morning, as Amir's car pulled away from Petals and Posies, Lily stood in the doorway of the shop, waving goodbye. Though her heart ached at the temporary separation, she felt a sense of peace. Their love, like the perennial flowers they nurtured, had strong roots. It would endure this separation and bloom even more beautifully when reunited. As she turned back to the shop, ready to throw herself into festival preparations, Lily caught sight of the handmade card from the schoolchildren, now framed and hanging on the wall. It served as a reminder of the impact they had made and the community that supported them. With renewed determination, Lily picked up her notebook, filled with ideas for the flower festival. She and Amir had planted the seeds of something beautiful in Rosaville. Now, it was time to help it grow. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over the flower-filled windows of Petals and Posies, Lily felt a surge of excitement for the future. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that the love she and Amir shared, rooted deeply in the soil of Rosaville, would continue to flourish and bloom. The weeks of Amir's absence seemed to stretch endlessly for Lily. Though they spoke every day, sharing updates on the festival planning and palace affairs, the distance between them felt vast. Rosaville, once so vibrant with their shared dreams, now seemed a little dimmer without Amir's presence. Yet Lily threw herself into work with renewed vigor. The preparations for the flower festival became her anchor, a tangible connection to the future she and Amir had envisioned together. The town rallied around her, with volunteers offering their time and local businesses pledging support. One particularly challenging day, as Lily struggled with a complex logistics issue for the festival, she found herself missing Amir's calm perspective more than ever. Stepping out of the shop for some fresh air, she bumped into Mrs. Henderson. "Lily, dear," the older woman said, her eyes twinkling with understanding. "Why don't you come over for a cup of tea? You look like you could use a break." Grateful for the distraction, Lily agreed. As they sat in Mrs. Henderson's cozy kitchen, surrounded by the aroma of freshly baked cookies, Lily felt some of her tension ease. "You know," Mrs. Henderson began, pouring tea into delicate cups, "when my Harold was called away for long business trips, I used to feel like the whole world had lost its color." Lily nodded, understanding all too well. "How did you manage?" Mrs. Henderson smiled softly. "I learned to see our separation not as an ending, but as a chance for both of us to grow. Every challenge I faced alone made me stronger, more confident, and when we reunited, our love was all the richer for it." Lily contemplated these words as she sipped her tea. She realized that this time apart, though difficult, was an opportunity for both her and Amir to prove their commitment to their shared dreams. Reinvigorated by this perspective, Lily dove back into festival preparations with renewed enthusiasm. She reached out to florists and gardeners from neighboring towns, turning potential competitors into collaborators. She worked with local artists to design stunning installations that would transform Rosaville into a floral wonderland. As the days passed, Lily began to see changes in herself. She grew more confident in her decisions, more adept at navigating the complexities of event planning on a grand scale. The shy florist who had once doubted her ability to keep her grandmother's shop afloat was blossoming into a respected businesswoman and community leader. Then, one crisp autumn morning, just weeks before the festival was set to begin, Lily arrived at the shop to find a surprise waiting for her. The windows of Petals and Posies were filled with exotic blooms she had never seen before, flowers in shapes and colors that seemed almost otherworldly in their beauty. Her heart racing, Lily unlocked the door and stepped inside. There, surrounded by the spectacular floral display, stood Amir, his eyes shining with love and excitement. "Amir!" Lily exclaimed, rushing into his arms. "You're back early!" "Hand these flowers, yet they're incredible." Amir held her close, breathing in the scent of her hair mingled with the fragrance of the flowers around them. "I couldn't stay away any longer," he said softly, "and I wanted to bring a piece of my world to share with you and Rosaville." As they stood there wrapped in each other's embrace, Lily felt the last piece of her world fall perfectly into place. Amir's return, bringing with him these breathtaking flowers, symbolized the beautiful fusion of their two worlds. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity as final preparations for the flower festival came together. Amir and Lily worked side by side, their complementary strengths creating a synergy that inspired everyone around them. The day of the festival dawned bright and clear, as if nature itself was celebrating with them. Rosaville had been transformed into a floral paradise, with every street and building adorned with stunning arrangements. Visitors poured in from far and wide, their faces filled with wonder as they explored the town. At the heart of it all was Petals and Posies, its windows and exterior a testament to the incredible journey Lily and Amir had taken together. The exotic blooms Amir had brought were woven seamlessly with local favorites, creating displays that seemed to tell the story of their love, a beautiful blend of two different worlds. As the festival reached its peak, Lily and Amir found a quiet moment together in the garden behind the shop. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of flowers and the distant sounds of joyful celebration. "Can you believe how far we've come?" Lily mused, her eyes taking in the beauty around them. Amir squeezed her hand gently. "I can, because I always knew you were capable of amazing things, Lily. You just needed to believe in yourself the way I believed in you." Lily turned to face him, her heart full of emotion. "And you, Amir, you gave up so much to be here." "I gave up nothing," Amir corrected her softly. "I gained everything. A home, a purpose, and a love more precious than any crown." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over Rosaville, Amir suddenly dropped to one knee. Lily's breath caught in her throat as he pulled out a small velvet box. "Lily Evans," Amir began, his voice filled with love and certainty. "You've taught me what it means to truly bloom where you're planted. Will you marry me and continue growing together here in Roseville for the rest of our lives?" Tears of joy streaming down her face, Lily nodded emphatically. "Yes, Amir. 1,000 times yes." As he slipped the ring, a delicate flower design with petals of diamond and emerald, onto her finger, cheers erupted around them. They looked up to see their friends and neighbors gathered at the garden gate, Mrs. Henderson at the forefront, all wearing expressions of pure joy. The impromptu engagement celebration merged seamlessly with the festival, turning the event into an even greater symbol of love, community, and new beginnings. As night fell and lanterns illuminated the flower-decked streets, Lily and Amir stood on the steps of Petals and Posies, hand in hand, looking out over the town they both now called home. The challenges they had faced, cultural differences, royal obligations, personal doubts, had only served to strengthen their bond. They knew that their journey was far from over. There would be more challenges to face, more bridges to build between their two worlds. But standing there, surrounded by the beauty they had created together and the community that had embraced them, Lily and Amir felt ready for whatever the future might hold. Their love, like the most resilient of flowers, had taken root in the fertile soil of Rosaville. It had weathered storms and flourished in adversity. And now, as they stood on the brink of a new chapter in their lives, they knew that their love would continue to grow, season after season, blooming ever more beautifully with each passing year. As the flower festival continued around them, a celebration of beauty, community, and the power of love to transform lives, Lily and Amir shared a tender kiss, a promise of the wonderful future they would build together, one petal at a time. End of story. Dear listeners, we hope that Lily and Amir's journey has touched your hearts as deeply as it has touched ours. Their story of love, growth, and the power of community is a testament to the beauty that can bloom when we open our hearts to new possibilities. If you've enjoyed this tale of flowers and romance, we invite you to explore our specially curated playlist of equally captivating stories. You can find it by clicking the link to your left. Did this story resonate with you? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. Every day we bring you unique stories that explore the complexities of life and love. You won't want to miss our upcoming content. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Lily and Amir's adventure. What was your favorite part? How do you think their story might continue? Share your ideas in the comments below. Remember, like the most beautiful flowers, love often blooms in unexpected places. Keep your hearts open to the possibilities that surround you every day. Until our next story, may your life be as colorful and fragrant as Lily and Amir's beloved flower shop. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Rosaville. We look forward to sharing many more adventures with you soon.